Tomorrow marks 1 year since the May 16th EF3 tornado hit St. Louis. Tonight, there is still a massive effort to repair homes and lives that were torn apart by the storm. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson. Ann Allred is live tonight from the Urban League of St. Louis. Hey there, Ann.
Hi, Kelly. You can see behind me 5 homes that are still a mess, uninhabitable. And then further off in the distance, you can see where they're starting to work on the back of one and put that wall together. The Urban League is in the building right behind our camera. They're helping with the cleanup and rebuild efforts ever since the storm hit a year ago tomorrow. And I'm actually on this concrete slab behind the Urban League where a strip mall was damaged in the tornado. It's been demolished. This concrete slab exists. It's probably the length of about 2 football fields. But take a look at this video of what it looked like after the storm. This was a strip mall owned by the Urban League. It had an event space, a restaurant, a daycare center, a beauty supply store, a Dollar Tree, and then it just got crushed. Now, earlier today, we did partner with the Urban League for our Rebuilding St. Louis telethon. You can still donate, and this, I got to tell you, Kelly, this is really going to touch your heart. A woman walked to Channel 5 about an hour and a half ago and slipped this under our door, gave it to somebody at the front door. It says $300 on this note for KSDK for tornado victims from Jenny John. And she handed $300 in cash after she walked to our station for these people. So we're gonna get this to the Urban League because the money that we're collecting right now is going immediately to the people in these neighborhoods that need it to start rebuilding. It's not for a later time, it's not to rebuild this strip mall, it's for right now. If you would like to help, we'd really like to get just another $15,000, according to the head of the Urban League, through the weekend. He said that would help a lot. You can text the word donate to 314-425-5355. You can also see in the bottom right corner of your screen. And so far, we've raised at least $485,000. A lot of that from corporations donating big checks today, and we are so appreciative, and we're so appreciative to Jenny John, who gave $300 in cash today. This weekend, the Urban League is holding a weekend of service, helping families who are still recovering, and there are so many of them. Our Tracy Henson was with them today while they spent time cleaning up, and she joins us live from North St. Louis. Tracy.
And I'm just on the alleyway behind Walton Avenue, not far from where you're standing. I can see the big Urban League building off to the west here on Kings Highway. Now, the big pile of debris behind me, that's what volunteers stacked up today as they used chainsaws to tear down old branches and stack the piles of what debris was left over from the tornado. Now, it's quiet here now, but it certainly wasn't earlier today.
When it did happen, I was out here for like a week or 2 straight.
Yet a year later, Carnell Owlsley and the students of Job Corps are back.
It's almost like nothing changes.
Over the next few days, volunteers organized by the Urban League will work to change that.
Everybody that's out here, they volunteer, they wanted to come out to help the community.
Helping by carrying away broken gutters, mangled fencing, and storm debris. Helping by cutting away overgrown grass, bushes, and trees.
This was pretty overgrown. There's some trees that were knocked down by the tornado, so we're trying to make pathways and really get the brush cleaned up.
This isn't Tim Fisher's first time volunteering for cleanup either.
There's definitely lots that look similar to what we've seen, so this is another step in the process of getting this cleaned up.
Cleanup is hard work and it's dirty work.
Even with a crew of 30, 40 people, it's taken hours just to get to this point.
Hours spent with more to go.
Everybody in St. Louis is part of this community, and we need to chip in and help out.
A little help, that goes a long way.
When we started, you almost couldn't even see nothing over here, so it definitely was a big, big change.
There's more opportunities to volunteer through the weekend. Tomorrow, the Urban League will be hosting a drive-through distribution, and then on Sunday, they'll be asking volunteers to deliver home goods to seniors and disabled. You can volunteer by signing up on their website. And back to you.
Tracy, just one example, thank you, of the people in North St. Louis who are still struggling. A year later, homeless, going from house to house with friends, just shattered after May 16th tornado. 5 on your side's Melanie Johnson is live at Fountain Park after hearing from one man who says he's a prisoner in his own home. Melanie.
Yeah, and a reminder of that chaos that happened almost 1 year ago here at Fountain Park. Behind me, you can still see bricks and debris that still stand here on the eve of the anniversary. A roof still ripped off of this building behind me as Mother Nature took a part of a lot of North St. Louis. Within walking distance, the story of Troy Spencer. The 64-year-old tells me that every day after the tornado has felt like yesterday. A lifelong North City resident, he's now the last man standing in this 2-flat apartment living out of trash bags. Inside, there are holes in the ceiling, no lights, and the kitchen is completely gone. Spencer hasn't had a home-cooked meal since May 17th of last year. While he's grateful FEMA paid for a new roof, he's still sleeping on an air mattress trapped in an unfinished contractor nightmare, praying for change.
I don't like to ask or beg nobody, but, we need help. I've been saying that since May 17th of last year. We need help.
And help is on the way for this community that is still reeling 1 year after the tornado. We've seen people canvassing because tomorrow they plan to remember the day that touched so many. 314 Oasis will have a Remembrance Day here in Fountain Park and also at O'Fallon Park with a 2:39 moment of remembrance for the day that changed St. Louis. Live in North City, Melanie Johnson, 5 on your side.
Melanie, thank you. I'm going to be back with more tornado anniversary coverage in a moment, but let's get over to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell for our weather impact forecast. Scott, you remember?
Oh, I do remember the day. In fact, the National Weather Service, over the course of the last year, has put a lot of effort into looking at the damage and trying to get a better analysis of the storm. And in doing so today, they released some new details that May 16th last year actually included 2 tornadoes. The one we're familiar with, but it lifted just northwest of Granite City, and then another tornado touched down near Granite City and went over towards SIU Edwardsville. Still the damage, EF3, that did not change, but the tornado width damage did change. And so when you broaden out that perspective again, we now have 2 tornado tracks, the width at 1.8 miles. That's the widest in our area of any tornado track going back to 1950 when reliable records.
Tonight, we're taking a look back at the May 16th tornado. Tomorrow marks 1 year since it hit St. Louis, and many homes are still damaged. Today, tornado survivors gathered outside City Hall in downtown. This comes after the Board of Aldermen introduced a bill using $110 million in RAM settlement money to help with tornado relief. Many neighbors say it is not enough, and they've been asking leaders to do more to help survivors for months.
We did not have to wait until the week of the 1 year anniversary to introduce a bill for the RAMS Fund. We've been talking about this for months. Everyday folks have created the response. That most of the recovery we've seen, homes being rebuilt, neighborhoods being cleaned, families being fed, housed, has come from the goodwill of St. Louisans. It's not the responsibility of everyday people to respond to a tornado. We don't have the resources or the infrastructure to lift folks into the recovery that they deserve.
You can watch our Rebuilding St. Louis Tornado Special on the 5 on Your Side streaming app. We're sharing stories of survivors as the city looks to rebuild. Get the app for free on your smart TV. Just search KSDK in your app store. That's it for us here outside of the Urban League on a concrete slab that used to be a strip mall that was crushed and demolished by that tornado. We'll send it back to Kelly in the studio.
All right. Thanks, Ann. We'll check back in with you.